Hello everyone, it's New Year's Eve, last day of this year. I'm making a pizza for New Year's Eve. I'm going to make the one Steve wants with the Alfredo sauce. We're going to make it a meat lovers. This is mild Italian sausage and ground beef that I'm cooking. I'm just going to brown it up, and this is going to be some of my pizza topping. Okay, for the crust, you need 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. I'm just going to use this. It's 2 cups. 2 ounces of cream cheese. Melt this together, but you want to melt it together until it's smooth. I've got my stove on medium low, so it's about number 3. That may be just low. See, it's starting to melt together. Just melt it until it's smooth. See, we still got to get the cream cheese melted. You can also do this in the microwave if you have a microwave. Okay, everything is smooth and it's mixed together good now. So I'm going to take it off the stove. We're going to go over here to my workbench. So I'm going to cook it in this black lot skillet, the same skillet that I cooked the sausage and hamburger meat in. So in this measuring cup, I have 3/4 a cup of almond flour, finely ground, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm going to add that in. And we're going to also add 1 large egg. Mix everything together. You want everything mixed together real good. You may have to stick it back on the stove for a few seconds to melt that cheese back down so you can get everything mixed together, or in the microwave if you're using a microwave. I'm going to get my blending fork. I'm going to put this back on the stove for just probably about 60 seconds, probably not longer than that. But you put it on the heat for just a few seconds because it'll melt that cheese up a little bit and make it easier to mix everything together. Sorry about the back and forth, y'all. I don't want to keep it on the stove too long because I don't want it to get too hot. Yeah, it's getting into a dough form. Let's see what it says next. I'm going to take it out of this pot and put it in a bowl. Because this pot's going to retain heat and I want it to turn into a dough. And I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on my hands. And that'll keep it from sticking to your hands. And I'm going to mix this up with my hands. Okay, so now we're going to stick it in the fridge for 10 minutes. And we'll put it in the fridge for 10 minutes and be back in a few. I'm going to preheat the oven to 425. It's almost been 10 minutes, so we'll start with the crust here in a second. So we've got a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to melt this on the stove, and then I'm going to add some garlic powder to it, and then we're going to go ahead and do our crust. So to do the crust, let me move my skillet over. You need 2 pieces of parchment paper. You want to put it on the bottom sheet, and then you're going to roll it. Put the other sheet on top, and whatever shape you're going to do, you want to roll it into that shape. I'll tell you, it's pretty much going to roll into whatever shape it wants. I'm going to try to do a circle to go in my skillet. And this has been sitting here a little while, and it has cooled down. I drained the grease, but I left enough to coat the bottom, and it still has some bits of sausage and hamburger that's been cooked on it, which is fine because that's going to cook into my crust, and I think that'll make it better. Just pull the top piece of parchment paper off. Now in the cookbook it says to leave the bottom parchment paper on, but I've already done this. I did the pizza the other day, and it turns out just fine in my cast iron without leaving the parchment paper on. Now, it's not very stretchy, so you just kind of have to push it to where you want it to go. It's not like regular dough. But I just fold the edges down because they get too dark if you have them up too high. Now, if you are using like a pizza pan or something like that, you may want to leave the parchment paper. I just know with my cast iron, I don't have to leave the parchment paper because it won't stick. Watch it stick this time. Okay, next step is to poke some holes in the bottom with a fork. Oops, that's a big hole. Okay, and we'll come back. We're going to stick in the oven for 10 minutes. Set your timer for 10 minutes, remove it from the oven, and when we pull it out of the oven, we're going to poke some more holes in it to get rid of the air bubbles. And then we'll put it back in the oven. Oh no. I've got a cast iron in my oven, and it is nice and heated now. Y'all ever store your cast iron in the oven and forget about it? This is my big 14-inch skillet that I used when I did my cheesecake water bath. And I'm going to have to remove it because it's good and seasoned now. Look at that pretty skillet, y'all. It's good and hot because it's been in that preheated oven. Okay, so I'm going to stick the pizza crust in the oven for 10 minutes. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay, now it says to poke the air bubbles to release the air. And then we're going to stick it back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Make sure that's right. Yeah, 10 minutes. And then once we take it out of the oven the next time, we'll go ahead and put our toppings. It's starting to get brown, golden brown around the edges, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. And I'm going to brush some garlic butter. I'm using this Alfredo sauce. It has 2 carbs in it. Okay, and let's spread some cheese across. I'm going to sprinkle some of my Italian seasoning. This is just some herbs I grow in the garden, basil, oregano, and they're dried out. And then I also do crushed red pepper flakes from the garden. And if you have other people eating it, you can leave the crushed red pepper flakes on the side. Some people don't like it. Okay, and this is my ground beef and ground mild Italian sausage. This is going to be a loaded down meat lovers pizza. I'm going to save the rest of this sausage for some omelets in the morning. And then my pepperoni. And then we're going to top it with some shaker cheese. Some mozzarella cheese, or Parmesan cheese, not mozzarella. Now it's going to go back into the oven. Probably about 5-10 minutes it'll take for everything to melt. And then we'll have it, it'll be ready to eat. All right, y'all, here's the finished product. Doesn't that look good? It didn't stick to the pan, but I didn't remove it on this time because I've got so much stuff on the top that it feels like the crust isn't going to hold up. So we're probably going to have to eat these with a fork, but that's 2 slices. Don't that look good?
Yeah,
this pizza was made specifically for you.
Yeah, because the last pizza was the barbecue pizza, and I'm not a big barbecue pizza fan.
The crust on that one stayed together a little bit better, but
it wasn't as loaded down.
It wasn't as loaded down, and I cooked it a little too long.
Well, this
crust will actually firm up when it cools off a little. Yeah. We ate it straight out of the skillet. Right out of the oven.
Really good flavor. I mean, this type pizza with the keto cheesecake stuff, I mean, you're not missing anything you would miss on a regular diet except for the fat, calorie, sugar stuff. And this tastes every bit as good, if not better.
Well, we're getting the fat. We're getting the calories.
Well, we're not getting the sugar is what I meant.
Yeah.
But I know it's got good flavor.
No carbs, basically. There's like, in the barbecue pizza, there was 4.8 net carbs per 2 slices. This pizza should be a little less because the Alfredo sauce has less carbs than the barbecue sauce did. Well, anyway, I hope everybody has a very happy new year. We appreciate y'all watching. I don't know what we have in store for the new year. I don't think we have anything new and exciting. I'm just going to keep posting my videos.
Yeah, we're hopefully we'll have another whole year together.
Yes, good Lord willing.
And the creek don't rise.
Yeah.
But we don't live near a creek, so.
Oh, well.
Well, we do have a flood area behind our house in the park.
But. Yeah, if it rains really hard, we have waterfront property.
Yeah, but we are on the high end of the park, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for your review, Steve.
You're welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed week.